Hello, welcome to Kumari's Kids channel. Today I'm going to tell you guys a story. It's about the Lion King. I know most of you know about Lion King story, but I still am going to read it. The sun came up over the African plain, hot and brilliant just as it had done since the beginning of time. Today, the first rays of the morning sun fell on an astonishing sight. Across the vast pride lands, animals moved in great herds, heading for a single destination. Elephants plodded steadily. Antelope leaped through the grass. Giraffes looped. Cheetahs raced. Ants marched in a single line while huge flocks of flamingos winged across the sky. They were all journeying to Pride Rock to celebrate the birth of King Mustafa's son. Above the gathering on top of the Pride Rock, Rafiki, the wise old mystic, approached King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi. He cracked open a gourd, dipped his finger in the liquid, and made a special mark on the infant's forehead. Then he carried the cup to the edge of the rock and held it high. A loud cheer rose from the plain. Elephants trumpeted, monkeys screeched, giraffes, rhinos, and a host of other animals stamped their hoofs. Then a hush fell over the gatherings. Together, the animals of Mufasa's kingdom knelt before Simba, the new prince. Yet one family member did not attend the ceremony. Mufasa's brother Scar had spent the entire morning toying with a mouse. He was just about to eat it when Zazu, the king's majordoma, appeared. Startled, Scare turned and the mouse scampered away. Now, look, Zazu, you have made me lose my lunch, Scare complained. You'll lose more than that when the king gets through with you. But Scare wasn't listening. He was still hungry and Zazu was beginning to look pretty tasty. Scare pounced, but before he had time to eat Zazu, a voice commanded, "Drop him!" Scare released the bird. "Why, if it isn't my brother?" he sneered. "Sarabi, I didn't see you at the presentation of Simba." Mufasa said, "Is anything wrong?" "That was today," Scare said. "Oh, I feel simply awful. It must have slipped off my mind. Well, as slippery as your mind is, you are the king's brother," Zazu reminded. Zazu also reminded Scare that he should have been the first in the line to congratulate his brother. "I was first in the line until the little hairball was born," retorted Scare. "That hairball is my son," Mufasa reminded him, "and you are future king." "I shall practice my crusty," Scare said. Then he turned his back on them and walked away. The days passed, and Simba grew from an infant into a cub. One morning before dawn, Mufasa led Simba to the top of the Pride Rock. As the sun edged over the horizon, Mufasa said, "Simba, look, everything the light touches is our kingdom. A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun. One day the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king, and this will all be mine." "Wow," said Simba, looking around. "But what about the shadowy place?" Mufasa turned to his son. "That is beyond our borders. You must never go there, Simba." As they wandered away from Pride Rock, Mufasa said, "Simba, everything you see exists together in delicate balance. As king, you will need to understand that balance and respect all creatures because we are all connected in the great circle of life." The young cub tried to listen, but a grasshopper caught his eye and he chased after it. Just then, Zazu arrived with the morning report. "Sir," he addressed, "Mufasa, hyenas have crossed into the Pride Lands. Quickly," the king ordered his majordoma to take Simba home. "Oh, Dad, can't I come?" Simba whined. "No, son," his father replied, and he took off after the dark shapes in the distance. After Zazu made sure that Simba was home safely, the excited cub found Scare sunning himself on a rock. "Hey, Uncle Scare!" Simba cried. "My dad just showed me the whole kingdom and I'm gonna rule it all." Scare scowled. Then slowly he began to smile. "So your father showed you the whole kingdom, did he? Did he show you what's beyond the rise at the border?" "No," said Simba. "He said I can't go there." "And he's absolutely right," Scare replied. "It's far too dangerous. Only the bravest of lions go there. An elephant graveyard is no place for young prince." "An elephant? What?" said Simba. "Wow. Oh dear, I've said too much," said Scare, grinning slyly. "Just do me one favor," he added. "Promise me that you'll never visit that dreadful place. And remember, it's our little secret." As Scare backed away, Simba stared at the distant spot on the horizon. He had no idea that Scare had cleverly set a trap to rid himself of the future king forever. Simba knew that he would be disobeying his father if he went into the elephant graveyard. But hadn't Uncle Scare said that only the bravest of lions dare venture there? Wouldn't Dad be proud of such a brave cub? Thought Simba. Soon after Simba went to search for his best friend Nala, he was happy to find Nala with her mother Sarafina and Queen Sarabi. "Mom," he said to Sarabi, "I just heard about this great place. Can Nala and I go?" "Where is this place, Simba?" his mother asked. "Oh, near the water hole," the cub fibbed. "Uncle Scare had said it was a secret." "All right," said Sarabi. As long as Zazu goes with you." "Not Zazu," thought Simba. "He'll spoil everything." As Zazu led the way, Simba whispered to Nala, "We have got to the ditch him. Sorry, we have got to ditch him. We are not going to the waterhole. We are going to an elephant graveyard. When Zazu looked back and saw them whispering, he said, just look at you two. Your parents will be thrilled. One day, you two are going to be married. It's a tradition. Marry her? Forget it, said Simba. I can't marry her. She's my best friend. And besides, when I'm a king, I'll do just as I please. Zazu shook his head. With that attitude, you'll be a pretty pathetic king. Simba laughed at Zazu. I can't wait to be king, the cub shouted, and he scampered away across the plains. Nala followed, and the two of them trotted in and out of herds and escaped from Zazu. It worked. We lost Zazu, said Simba, laughing. Now we can look for the elephant graveyard. In the spirit of victory, Simba playfully leaped for Nala, but she was too quick for him and flipped him onto his back. Together they tumbled down a hill until they landed with a thud. Next to them was a huge elephant skull. This is it. We made it, said Simba. Wow, exclaimed Nala. It's really creepy. Go on, said Simba. Let's check it out. Before they could climb into the skull, Zazu caught up with them. We are We are way beyond the boundary of the Pride Lands, he said. And right now we are all in a very real danger. I laugh in the face of danger, said the brave lion cub. Ha ha, replied the elephant skull. Then out of the skull's cavernous eye holes popped three slobbering hyenas. Hyenas. Actually, it's hyenas. Well, Banazi, what have we got here? Said one hyena. I don't know, Sanishi, answered another. What do you think? The third hyena just licked his lips and laughed. Bearing their fangs in wide grins, the hyenas crept toward the trespassers. They grabbed Zazu first. Why don't you pick on somebody your own size? Simba shouted. The hyenas dropped Zazu and raced after the cubs. When the Zenzi threatened, Nala Simba swift his cloves across the hyena's nose. The hyenas raced after the cubs, who found themselves trapped inside the bones of an elephant's rib cage. Then the angry hyenas advanced toward Simba, their sharp teeth gleaming. A giant paw suddenly struck, sneezed, sending her and the other hyenas into a pile of bones. Not far from the Simba, not far from where Simba waited, a herd of wild beasts grazed. Not far from the herd, three hyenas waited too. They were waiting for signal from a scare. Sneeze saw him first. There he is. Let's go. The hyenas ran toward the wild beast, sensing danger. The herd panicked and stamped into the gorge straight into Simba. Nearby, Muzaffar Zazu noticed the dust rising from the gorge. Mufasa, scared, yelled, appearing from behind a rock. Quick, Stampede! Simba's down there. With no thought for his own safety, the Lion King leaped into the gorge and snatched the cup out of the path of the deadly hooves. Mufasa jumped onto a rocky ledge and set Simba down. Suddenly, Mufasa felt the rocky wall crumble beneath his hind paws. He fell back into the herd. badly hurt. He tried to climb another cliff. Looking up, he saw Scare. Brother, help me, Mufasa pleaded. Scare leaned toward Mufasa and pulled him close. Long live the king, he whispered. Then let go. Mufasa lost his grip and disappeared beneath the mass of moving animals. Unaware of what Scare had done, Simba saw his father fall. When the wild beasts were gone, the cub raced down into the dust filled gorge. There, Simba found his father. He nuzzled the motionless body, but the great Lion King was dead. Scare appeared beside Simba. What have you done? He said. He tried to save me, the cub answered. If it weren't for you, your father would still be alive, Scare snarled. Run away, Simba, run away and never return. Confused and heartbroken, Simba began to run. He did not see the hyenas join Scare or hear his uncle give the order to kill. When Simba opened his eyes again, the burning sun and the vultures were gone. But a meerkat and Wethawk were standing over him. You okay, kid? Said the meerkat. You nearly died, said Wethawk. We saved you. Thanks for your help, Simba replied. He stood on a wobbly legs and started to leave. The meerkat called after the shaky cub. Where ya from? It doesn't matter, Simba said quickly. Then he admitted, I did something terrible, but I don't want to talk about it. Then you're an outcast, cried the meerkat. So are we. My name's Timon, and this is Pumbaa. Take my advice, kid. You got to put your past behind you. No past, no future, no worries. Hakuna Matata. With nowhere else to go, Simba followed Timon and Pumbaa to their jungle home. As Timon handed Simba some wriggling bugs to eat, the meerkat repeated, This is the great life. No rules, no responsibility, and best of all, no worries. Time passed. In the carefree company of his new friends, Simba grew into a young lion. One night, while the three of them were gazing at the stars, Simba said, Someone once told me that the great kings of the past are up there, watching over us. Pumbaa and Timon laughed. Who'd have told a crazy thing like that, said Timon. Simba, thinking of his father, was silent. The next day, as Simba was wandering through the jungle, he heard his friend shout for help. Simba hurried towards the sound. Pumbaa was caught beneath trunk of a fallen tree, and Timon was trying to protect him from a hungry young lioness. As she leaped, Simba threw himself forward and knocked the lioness aside. For a moment they tussled, then the lioness pinned him to the ground and stared down at him. Simba, she said hesitantly. Nala, he replied. As the lions hugged, Timon cried, What's going on here? Simba laughed and introduced Nala to his friends. She smiled politely, but she could not stop staring at Simba. Finally, she said, Everyone thinks you are dead. They do? Simba said. Yes, Scare told us about the stampede. What else did he tell you? Simba asked cautiously. What else matters? Nala exclaimed. You are alive, and that means you are the king. King? Cried Timon and Pumbaa, surprised. Excusing him themselves, Simba and Nala strolled into the jungle. Scare, let the hyenas take over the pride lands, Nala said. Everything's destroyed. There's no food, no water, Simba. If you don't do something soon, everyone will starve. I can't go back, he insisted. Nala did not understand why Simba refused to accept responsibility and help the pride. What's happened? What's happened to you? She asked. You are not the Simba, I remember. You are right, I'm not, he said. Now, are you satisfied? Before he turned to leave, Simba added angrily, listen, you think you can't show up and tell me how to live my life? You don't even know what I have been through. Nala called after him, but Simba ignored him. That night, while the others slept, Simba sat on a rock and gazed up at the twinkling sky. I don't care what anybody said, he said aloud. I won't go back. What would it prove? Anyway, it won't change anything. You can't change the past. Then Simba heard a strange sound. Somewhere in the jungle, someone was chanting in a sing-song voice, as if from nowhere. He bent figure of an old baboon appeared. The question, who are you? Simba asked, slightly annoyed. The question is, who are you? Said the baboon. Simba thought for a moment, then sighed. The old baboon said, I know your father. My father is dead, Simba replied. Nope, said the baboon. He's alive. I'll show him to you. Just follow our old Rafiki. He knows the way. The old baboon leads Simba to a clear, smooth pool. Look down there, Rafiki advised. In the pool, Simba saw the only his reflection. Look harder, the baboon insisted. A breeze rippled the water. When the pool became still, Simba stared at the face of his father. You see, Rafiki said, he lives in you. Simba heard a voice call his name, and he looked up and saw the image of his father in the stars. Look inside yourself, Simba, said his father image. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in a circle of life. Remember who you are. You are my son and the only true king. Remember, the vision faded. Simba remained alone thinking. The next morning, Nala, Timon, and Pumbaa looked over for Simba. Finally, Rafiki caught up with them. You won't find Simba here, the baboon said. The king has returned. Timon asked, What do you mean? He's gone back to challenge his uncle, Nala exclaimed. Ahead of them, Simba moved swiftly toward Pride's Rock. As he crossed over into the homeland, he saw ruin and devastation everywhere. For a moment, Simba hesitated. Then he felt a fresh wind, saw rain clouds gathering on the horizon. With renewed hope, he continued his journey. Soon Nala joined him, as did Pumbaa and even Timon. As they approached Pride Rock, they saw some hyenas. Pumbaa and Timon stayed behind to divert the pack. Nala went to find the lioness, while Simba forged on alone in a search of his mother. Meanwhile, at the Pride Rock, Sir regined without shame. Where is your hunting party? He shrieked at Sabari. There's no food, she replied. The herds have moved on. We have only one choice. We must leave Pride Rock. We are not going anywhere, she growled. Sabari replied, Then you are sentencing us to death. Then so be it. I am the king and I make the rules. If you were half the king Mufasa was, Sabari began, and ragged scat struck her and she fell. Soon the animals gathered once more to celebrate the birth of King's son. Simba and Nala watched proudly as Rafiki held their new cup high over Pride Rock. As the morning sun touched the African plain, Simba thought of something his father had once told him. As a king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun. One day the sun will set on my time and rise with you as the new king. Someday Simba would pass on these same words to his own son, continuing the unbroken circle of life. That's the end of Lion King. Bye.